Good morning, everybody. Dave Schmidt along with Matt Nestor and producer Tom Warner. Going to shift gears a little bit. I don't know if it's a good day.
To say one guy that's not going to be happy about the rain today. That's
sure. Right. Matt Schwartz is the head girls golf coach over at Boylan, and they were off to a good start. And, Coach, good to have you along today. And is this weather going to cause you any problems today?
No, actually, we don't play today. Our Saturday tournaments are going to start in a few weeks after Labor Day. So I'm actually going to be at football games all day for my son up at Boylan for the little kids. So it might affect them. So they'll come home all nice and muddy.
You know, there has been some rain recently. How does that affect a golf team, you know, as far as practice goes? Do you just try to hit the range until you see lightning? Do you try to get in as many holes as you can before the rain starts? How do you kind of approach that?
All the above. The biggest thing is that, you know, if you have rain, the rain stops, you still might not be able to play because there's be a lot of water on the course and the bunkers and things like that. And when we started a few weeks ago, there were a few of the courses in town that were a little soggy, but we still went out there and played. And, you know, if there's thunder or lightning, we have to stop. You know, just like with any sport, we have to stop and wait for a half hour before we can do anything else. So, you know, we were still out there every day as much as we can. So,
you know, Coach, when we were talking back and forth on Messenger the other day, you were telling me that there's some changes in your classification due to the new rules the IHSA has. Tell us quickly about that and your thoughts on that situation, because I know the IHSA has probably received a lot of complaints about some of the process in that.
And I know, Dave, that you have a lot of opinions about that, too.
Not me, Matt. I'm a good guy.
I know, I'm kidding. Right before the season started, you posted the classifications, and I looked at it, and it said we were Class A, and I thought, well, that's got to be a typo because we're always Class AA. But then I realized that our success factor, you talked about that as well, is that we've only won one regional in 4 years. And the cutoff for Class AA was just over 1,000, and our official enrollment is around 960. So we're not multiplied, hence we dropped down to Class A. And I was surprised as anybody else that was the case. So what that does to us is make our regional and sectional path a little different. Not easier, it just makes it different. So we're going to be seeing teams that we don't play in tournaments with, we really have no association with because we're used to playing, you know, in the northwest suburbs for our regional and sectional. And it'll just be different, you know.
I was going to say, you know, with that difference, you know, who hosts the regional? Is it going to send you to a course that maybe you've never seen before?
Yeah, it's going to send us definitely to a course we've never seen before. The courses we played the last few years, we have some familiarity with, but this year, you know, I was looking at the sites, and off the top of my head, I'm thinking we might be playing at Lena Winslow for our regional, and maybe Rock Falls for our sectional if we make it. And those are teams and locations we're completely unfamiliar with, which, you know, is strange for us. But nonetheless, you know, that's the way the cards have been dealt, so we have to do it.
Now, will you get a chance to play those courses before you would play like in regionals, Coach?
Yeah, I leave some dates open towards the end of September and early October. The regional is going to be October 5th. So I leave open dates so we can go out and find these courses, because they won't assign us to a course until after September 1st. And then we'll know who's in we'll know where we're going to be, and then we'll know who will be in that regional with us.
You know, we're talking all regional sectionals. Obviously, you have to play a season and then hopefully do well in those things. What's your team look like this year?
This year, you know, last year we lost just one senior, and she was on varsity once in a while and JV once in a while. So I returned all top six, you know, being led by Jessica Slattery and Claudia Conness, who've been 4-year starters for us, who've been our leaders on our team for these 4 years. So we returned probably the best team we've had in 4 years. And then we dropped to Class A. And so, it's going to be a different deal for us. But even if we were in AA, I mean, our goals were still the same to, as a team, make it through sectional. And we haven't done that in the last few years, mostly because we've been lumped into sectionals where the state champion comes out of. But this year, our goals remain the same.
We're talking with Matt Schwartz, the girls' head golf coach at Boylan. And Jessica Slattery, I seem to hear her name a lot, and I think her brother's the field goal kicker for Illinois State, right? And
yes.
She's kind of nice. That puts a little smile on your face when she comes out to the golf course, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Mostly because I learn a whole lot from her about how to golf. And, just what makes her so good is her consistency. Basically, it's her ball striking. She rarely mishits a ball, and places herself in positions to make par, which, if every golfer did that, we'd all change our jobs and do more of that, but we don't do that. She does. She just puts herself in position for pars on every hole. And if she doesn't, she gets out of trouble in one shot as opposed to four, because you can't necessarily hit through the trees. You have to teach them that. They can't hit through trees, but she gets out of trouble in one shot and, maybe makes a par or a bogey out of that and moves right along. So, yeah, it's good to have, and not just Jessica, but, a number of talented golfers on the team, definitely.
And the thing, when you're talking about having multiple 4-year starters for you and things like that, how much are they able to push each other and maybe some of the other players when you're in their practice rounds and things like that? And how much does that help as the season goes on when you're getting into your meets?
Well, we have 17 girls on the team.
Wow.
So when we show up on day one, it's competition because no spot is given. You have to play for your spot. And that's from ranking them 1 through 17. So, day one, they know that they have to earn their spot. And some of the other schools in the NIC 10, but across the state as a whole, they don't have that problem because numbers have been down the last few years for a number of schools, but our numbers have remained steady. And so, like I said, as soon as we start, we're competition right off the bat. So when we enter into a tournament or match, it's not like they have to pump themselves up for it because our practices are like that. And it just, it makes them better because every stroke does count.
You talk about the NIC 10 this year, and some surprising news to a lot of people was that Madison Peterson's not going to play for the Rockford Co-op School, who's pretty much had a pretty good control of the NIC 10 the past year or so. How much does that change your kids' attitude as they go out there? They know that they really are going to be very, very extra competitive in the NIC 10 this year.
Yeah, I read the article in the Register-Star, and, like I said, it honestly, it doesn't change anything. With our goals. I mean, our goals were still to be undefeated and to move as far as we can in the state tournament. So, that's in golf, because it's an individual sport, you worry about your game. And you're not really concerned with, how other people are doing it or what's going on. We just go out and play our game, and we play who shows up, and we move right along. So it doesn't really change anything for us.
What's the home course for Boylan now?
We have 4 of them.
Okay.
They're the public courses here in Rockford, so
gotcha.
Share that with all the RPS schools and with Lutheran and Christian Life and things like that.
How often do you mix up your practices, going between the different courses?
We mix it up. The Park District is the moving wheel that sort of sends us wherever we need to go. And so a lot of times we can't get on a course because there's matches. So we'll go to Mactown and play. We'll go to the Aldine Practice Center. We take Fridays off because usually we have Saturday tournaments. Not this Saturday, of course, but we have Saturday tournaments. And so we normally go Monday through Thursday. Matches are on a course or at Aldine. And then Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, we're somewhere playing a tournament. So
What's your favorite course, though, Coach? You got to have a favorite course, don't you?
Mine is Elliott, although the girls don't really like that course. But Elliott is my favorite to play at because it has much bigger greens and the bunkers have some depth to them, so it's a bigger challenge. And but the girls like playing. The course we play at the most is probably Ingersoll. But for the ladies, it's a par 39. So over the past years, we've made 2 of the holes shorter to make it a par 37, because then that affects their averages as they go into the regional and sectional. If you play a par 39 course, it increases your stroke average. So we lessen the par on those, and every school does that in the Nick 10 whenever we play at Ingersoll.
Talking about girls golf, Jessica Slattery, has had a good season this year in the off season. What's the most important part for a young lady golfer, that drive off the tee or the putting game?
It's both. I mean, it's if you find yourself in trouble, you have to get out of it in one shot. That's honestly the biggest thing. Jessica, as a player, isn't necessarily the longest that. When we play other teams, she's not always the longest, but she's definitely the most consistent. And the same thing with Claudia, our number 2 player. Her game has improved so much over the past 2 years that, I don't know if you noticed, but she beat Jessica the other day.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
And she doesn't hit it nearly as far as Jessica, but she just put herself in position for, pars across the board. At courses we play at, like we played at the Rockford Country Club a few weeks ago, and those greens are just different than the public courses in town. So we struggled a bit there, but then all 10 schools struggled there just because it's a different type of turf. And so we knew our scores would be a little bit high there, but I wasn't too concerned about it once we start, because we'll never see a course like that in a regional and sectional.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for taking time out today, and enjoy it, and thanks for sending me scores so we can put them on the hub, and it just makes it a lot of fun. Good luck to you guys, and we'll have to keep an eye on you, because usually it is easy to find all the Rockford school all in the same usually tournament, so we'll keep an eye on you guys for sure, but thanks for coming on today.
All right, thanks, guys. I'm happy that on the first week of football you actually worked in a little girls' golf. I have to say I was a little surprised, but pleasantly surprised.
You bet, man. I knew that you'd be a good interview. That's why I did that.
All right, thanks, guys.
Hey, we'll see you, Matt. Matt Schwartz, the head golf coach for the girls at Boylan. And I'll tell you what, Jessica Slattery, her brother kicks at ISU. Yep. Sean he was awesome when But she gets her name out there a lot. She's a nice golfer.
She definitely does, yeah.
But she's also got some help, and you need that in a sport like that.
You have to. It's from the team aspect in golf, you have to have that depth. You really need, usually they take 4 scores, but, you really have to have 5, maybe even all 6. That way you can kind of push each other, kind of like in cross country, where, you're kind of pushing the team and things like that. So, you really got to have that from the team aspect.
And especially in golf, you can have an off day.
Right.
From what I've heard, you can have an off day. Not that I'm a golfer, but
it happens, let me tell you.